of Wrigley Field here in Chicago. We're getting ready. This one-game makeup game. It'll make Montgomery on the hill for the Cubs. A 1-5 record for him, the 2.8 earned run average. And for the Brewers, it's Zach Davies making his 18th start of the season. A 9-4 record. The earned run average just over 5. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sophia Minert here at Wrigley Field. And for Davies, he was winless over his first 3 starts of the season, but heading into the All-Star break, things have gotten much better for Davies. Over his last 6, he's gone 4-1, and he's looking to finish off this first half of the season on a strong note. The team has gone 11-6 with Davies on the mound. He's coming off of a win against Miami where he gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. So Davies has had to grind at times, but Craig Counsell says he likes where Davies is on the mound right now. We take a look at the National League wins leaders, and Davies is in some elite company. Clayton Kershaw, Zach Greinke, Max Scherzer, and Alex Wood, the only ones in the National League ahead of him. And there is Davies sitting at 9 as he goes for his 10th win of the season here. Here's what Counsell had to say about Davies' first half of the season so far.
Well, we've scored a lot of runs for him, for sure. We've been, we've scored very well for him. But at the same time, there have been games where, he's pitching in close games, I think, is what he's been doing a lot. And he's rebounded from a tough inning to extend an outing through the 6th inning, leave with the lead, and keep the game into a place where the bullpen can pitch in their proper roles, I think.
Just one game for the crew here at Wrigley Field today, but Ryan Braun feels right at home here. He has a .344 career average at Wrigley, 13 home runs. He looks to add to that total here this afternoon. We've got first pitch coming up next from Wrigley Field.
July weekend. We're going to keep extending it a few more days. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Let the games begin. Nice hot day indeed, 86 degrees with a partly cloudy sky, wind whipping from right field to left field here this afternoon. Maybe a little jump on balls driven out toward Waveland Avenue as the Brewers come to town, having won 6 of their last 7 and feeling pretty good about it as well. They should. Rocky, you're around this team from start to finish. It's a good, fun, loose group. If they win or if they lose, they're doing this kind of thing. They're just having fun playing the game.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, every day they show up, win, lose, or draw the day before, they come out with the same energy, the same attitude, and you have to credit Craig Counsell and his coaching staff for a lot of that. These guys right now playing as good as they have all season long.
From day one, Craig Counsell has been adamant about not setting a ceiling for this team. Go play, see what you can do. And the players have bought into the manager's philosophy. Let's check out the Brewers batting order presented by Potawatomi. Jonathan Villar again at the top of the order, followed by Domingo Santana and Ryan Braun. Jesus Aguilar in the lineup today hitting cleanup. Hernan Perez batting 5th. Manny Pena behind the plate hitting 6th. Keon Broxton, Orlando Arcia, and Zach Davies rounding out the Brewers batting order against Cubs lefty Mike Montgomery.
Yeah, making start number 6. His second year with the Cubs, came over from the Mariners last year. He's taken the spot of Kyle Hendricks, who's on a disabled list. He's lost a couple in a row. And last time out, a 5-0 loss at Cincinnati. Went 6 2/3, 4 runs. Making start number 3 against the Brewers so far in his career. Now let's check out the Menards Cubs defense. You got a couple of changes. No Ben Zobrist or Addison Russ. You got Baez and Happ in the middle of the infield. Bryan and Rizzo on the corners. You got Schwarber just up from the minor leagues. John Jay in center. Jason Hayward in right. And Wilson Contreras behind home plate.
Yeah, one of the stars of the World Series for the Cubs. Wasn't the MVP. Ben Zobrist was the MVP, but Schwarber had a big role in the Cubs winning the World Series, but off to a very tough start. But he got some things straightened out. AAA Iowa's Joe Madden's team 42 up and 42 down. Talking to folks around here, they've had a few games where they felt like it's maybe a turn the corner type of win. They had a big come from behind win recently against the Washington Nationals. Fact is, they have not gotten really hot. They haven't been stone cold. They've just been kind of Joe average, at least so far. If this umpiring crew looks familiar, it's because it is. They worked the series up at Miller Park. Eric Cooper calling balls and strikes. Gary Severster, crew chief. Gabe Morales, Adrian Johnson rounding out the crew for this one game and one game only matchup. Brewers and Chicago Cubs game originally scheduled for May 20th. Better late than never. Play today.
I think the weather was better back then.
We are ready to roll as Jonathan Villar takes a look at ball 1, and we are underway. Yeah, the Brewers with the great line was it Craig Counsell saying that, yes, got some guys with sunburn after a postponed game. It rained throughout the morning, but stopped well before scheduled first pitch, but they went ahead and shut it down. The Brewers had won the Friday game. Saturday's game called off. Cubs took Sunday's game. Cubs have won 5 of the 8 against the Brewers so far this season.
Glass half full. It could be worse. I mean, at least the Brewers didn't have to board a plane and head somewhere else. An hour and a half south from Milwaukee and play the game, and then head to New York. No big deal. These guys taking it in stride.
3 balls, no strikes to Jonathan Villar leading off the game this afternoon, and he begins the afternoon with a 4-pitch walk. Mentioned Montgomery, Brock, his 6th start, as you said, in there for Kyle Hendricks, who's been out with a hand injury. They think they'll have him back perhaps not too long after the All-Star break, but he's actually pitched better than his record with a leadoff walk here today.
Yeah, the 280 earned run average, nothing wrong with that. Montgomery has made 4 relief appearances this year against Milwaukee. The guys know a little bit about him.
In fact, was the losing pitcher on April 9th at Miller Park. We are with 15 stolen bases on the year. Run support has been an issue for Montgomery. That low ERA, but not much to show for it by way of a record as he faces Domingo Santana. A terrific catch. The Brewers had great defense in the series against Baltimore, and he ran one down near the wall last night. And you see what he has done at the plate lately, and that hot stretch has gone much longer than that.
And the offense has been very good. It's been well distributed throughout the roster. Everybody contributing. I mean, that series against the Orioles might be the best 3-game series they've had all year. 3 relatively easy wins. I say easy because there wasn't that pressure at the end of the game.
We've had a ton of close games, and there's a hot smash that gets by Chris Bryant and goes to the corner. Schwarber running it down. Eddie Cedar will wave around Jonathan Villar, and just like that, it's 1-0 Brew Crew.
Well, no team better in all of baseball scoring in the first inning. A bullet by Santana off the glove of Chris Bryant. Still goes all the way down in the corner. A walk double, and the Brewers take an early lead. These guys are something in the first inning. Bryant not able to get it, and all the way in the corner. Schwarber takes a while to get to it, and Jonathan Villar with his great speed scores easily.
First inning run production, that storyline rolling along. 74 first inning runs now for the Brewers. Double, an RBI double for Domingo Santana as the first 2 have reached, and Ryan Braun settles in. He continues to do what he's done throughout his career against the Cubs, and that's hit the ball well. First pitch swinging here, and an early chance for Ian Happ for out number 1, but Santana will advance to third.
Yeah, got to make an out. That's the way to do it. Good job by Ryan Braun to get the ground ball to the right side. Not what he had in mind, but you know, if you don't get a hit, that's what you want to do.
It's Jesus Aguilar. He gets the start at first base today. Thames had the shot last night against a left-handed starter, facing Aquino. With the Brewers today and facing Montgomery, this is a 3-game stretch, the middle of a 3-game stretch where the Brewers will face left-handed starters. Moves on to New York, Yankee Stadium, where the Yankees for the first time in 3 years. It's originally scheduled to be an off day, but as you all know by now, with the May rainout, this is the window to fit it in. And there you see the numbers Aguilar has against left-handed pitching. Inning number 1, the Cubs pull the infield in.
Aguilar's done a good job with runners in scoring position this year. Always important to get off to a good start, and that first inning success even more important when you're on the road.
Players with the numbers with runners in scoring position who jump out: Aguilar, Manny Pena, Travis Shaw. Shaw not in the lineup here today. Aguilar 325 with runners in scoring position. He has really settled in. You go back to early May. Big ball game against the St. Louis Cardinals. He had been scuffling for a while, and it just seemed like since then he has really been productive for Council. The ball, 2 strikes to Jesus Aguilar. That strike 3 called. That's the second out of the inning.
That got him on a fastball in the inside corner, and Aguilar giving Eric Cooper the business as he walks away. Looked like a decent pitch, pretty close. Just catching that inside corner. Not too close to take.
2 men out with Santana, the runner at third, and here's Hernan Perez. It's the start at third base this afternoon, and that's a strike. Perez 3 for 14 in the homestand, a stand that saw the Brewers win 5 out of 6. 2 out of 3 against the Marlins, and a 3-game sweep of Baltimore. Cubs getting a win yesterday against Tampa Bay. After today, the Cubs stay home for the weekend, taking on the Pirates. Get into the final weekend before the All-Star break. 1-1 pitch to Perez. That's back up the middle, and it's 2-0 Brewers. RBI single for Perez. Another good start for the Crew.
Yeah, Perez taking a high fastball. Montgomery doesn't throw hard. Yeah, low 90s. He's got a curve and a changeup to go with it. There's that pitch up in the zone, and Perez doing what he does best. I mean, taking that ball right back into center field, not trying to pull it. And an RBI for Hernan, a 2-0 lead. There you go, little head bump.
RBI number 35 on the year for Perez. Here is Manny Pena.
We talked about this offense when we came on the air today, and one of the big reasons why they've been so good for a nice long stretch, because they don't rely on, you know, 1, 2, or 3 guys. I mean, everybody on this roster has been contributing, and that's what gives you staying power. You're not relying on the same guys every day.
I think what this Brewers team has been able to sustain without having Ryan Braun for such a big chunk, 37 games as a matter of fact. Middle of May on, this team has led the Central. Eric Thames, obviously, the great month of April. Gone back into the fold. It certainly gives the lineup a great dynamic, but they hung in there, more than hung in there when he was out with the calf injury.
Well, stayed in first place. That's all that counts. Santana did a nice job in that number 3 spot. He's hitting that spot, Ryan's spot in the batting order a lot of times while Ryan was on the DL.
2-hole today with Thames not in the lineup. 2 strikes and nothing to Manny Pena. (47-40) the Brewers record. 42 up, 42 down for the Cubs. 3.5 games separating these teams. 0-2 pitch. It's getting to the point now. Clearly, nationally, the Cubs' average first half gets the lion's share of the headlines, but the Brewers are getting more and more run now nationally. People are paying attention to what Craig Counsell's team has been able to do. Certainly, Thames with the historic month of April. Got the Crew on the radar outside of the state of Wisconsin, but yeah, they're kind of moving past that category of being the cute story and being a team that the rest of baseball is saying, hey, let's keep an eye on this group. They're not bad.
Yeah, one of the big surprises, if not the National League, of all of baseball, where the Brewers are. And you can say the same about the Cubs. I mean, in the opposite direction.
Perez running.
A lot of expectations on the Cubs. It's not easy to repeat, and the Cubs are proving that. I think still the team that everybody expects that you're going to have to beat to get the division. And a lot of baseball left to play.
The corner infielders, Anthony Rizzo and now Chris Bryant. Bryant still trying to maybe get things straightened out. Rizzo on a pace very similar to last year in terms of run production. 2 pitch again. A little chopper toward Bryant. That'll do it for the Brewers in the first, but a good start for Milwaukee. Here goes Santana. Hoping good things started with this RBI double that shot past Chris Bryant and into the corner. And run in VR, and Hernan Perez goes back up the middle. 2-0 Milwaukee to the bottom of the first. Top of the first off Mike Montgomery. Padres team playing from behind here at Wrigley Field. They'll get their first crack at it this afternoon. Here is Madden's lineup presented by Potawatomi. John Jay, a big home run yesterday. He's at the top of the order, followed by Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. Ian Happ is hitting cleanup. Kyle Schwarber back with the big club hits fifth, followed by the catcher Wilson Contreras. Jason Hayward along with Javi Baez and Mike Montgomery round out the order against Zach Davies. Jay settles in. A strike from Davies.
Yeah, Zach's won 2 in a row. A couple of starts ago, his best start of the year against the Braves in Atlanta. 7 shutout innings for Zach. Yeah, beat the Marlins his last time out.
Vulnerable early, but he fought through it in his last outing against the Marlins. As he was clean in his final 3 innings. The final 9 in innings 4, 5, and 6.
If he's able to avoid the big inning, I mean, that's normally when he's going to have his best outings. That has bitten him a number of occasions this year.
Jerry throws his bat out there and begins the bottom of the first for the base hit.
John Jay's had a good season, hitting over 300. There's that change-up grip for Zach Davies. Not a bad pitch off the plate, and John Jay just kind of throws it out there and dumps it into center field.
Talk about Jay being a terrific mentor as well with this Cubs team. He's put up the numbers as you suggest as well. Here's Chris Bryant. National League MVP.
Chris Bryant has had good success against Zach Davies. His numbers off the charts against Zach. Numbers down a little bit for Bryant. Of course, he's really set the bar pretty high for himself his first 2 years.
Rookie of the Year, MVP. Rookie of the Year a couple of years ago, the MVP last year. 8 for 17 in his career against Davies. And sharply hit into the shift. VR with a scoop to Arcia, and the throw is dug out by Aguilar.
Oh, there's that defense again. These 2 guys up the middle can be very impressive, very athletic. It's not an easy double play. I mean, VR, the second baseman, is on the third base side of the bag. He's got to flip it on the run to Arcia, who has to get to the bag. Check this out. This is not something you see every day. And a good pick by Aguilar to get the double play. Got to be creative when you have defenses that the Brewers incorporate. Well done.
Talk about the athleticism of this team, and there's a good example of it there. Brewers turn a double play, and there are 2 men out of the first.
They never cease to amaze you, do they? Especially that kid.
So much fun to watch because he's having fun. He's out there smiling. Oh, by the way, making a lot of plays. In that series against the Orioles, the Brewers, they hit a lot, they pitched well. The defense is very good as well. And he's quickly out in front, 0-2 to Anthony Rizzo. The average down for Rizzo, but the run production still at a very good pace. 19 homers, the 54 RBIs. Lift one into center field. Back goes Broxton. Can't get it. Rizzo on his way to second with a 2-out double.
He went down and got that one, a curveball. That ball jumping out into left field. The wind blowing out to left. First thing you look at when you come to Wrigley Field, how's the wind blowing? That ordinarily dictates the kind of day you're going to have. This really isn't a bad curveball. It might have been up just a little, but check out the swing. Broxton thinks he has it measured, but I think the wind's taking it a bit. And a 2-out double.
Interesting to see in a day like today how difficult it's going to be for both pitchers. Jump out there to left field. Here's Ian Happ. Switch hitter making quite an impression with this Cubs outfit. He will lift a lazy fly ball out to Keon Broxton. And That'll do it for the Cubs. We are through one. Good start for Milwaukee.
Here as we head to the second, and our scoops from the clubhouse brought to you by Car Soup. Craig Counsell told us before the game that he was going to keep Eric Sogard out of today's lineup with the lefty on the mound, and he said a DL move was likely for him as he continued to deal with the left ankle strain. And just minutes before this game got underway, that move did come through. So they have called up Yadiel Rivera from AAA Colorado Springs, and Rivera did make it here in time for the game. He got in to Chicago around 9 a.m. this morning from Colorado. Said he's ready to go, ready to contribute here over the weekend. And Counsell said they're hoping that they can just get Sogard that break and get him strong for the second half.
All right, Sophia, thanks very much. Yeah, Yadiel, slick fielding shortstop, play a variety of infield positions, really. It's the chance now. Is what's cliche, but next man up. It's worked pretty well, right, for this Brewers team.
Yeah, Rivera, I mean, exceptional defensively. It's just, you know, the bat is the reason why he's not in the major leagues. Kind of a so-so year down in the minors, about 230.
Right around there.
And, you know, but certainly defensively, don't lose a whole lot with him out on the field.
Keon Bloxton leading off this second inning. Involved in the power parade, if you will, for the Brewers. Although in that first game of the series against the Orioles, the Crew did not need a home run to put 8 runs on the board, but the last couple of games are a different story. And actually a much more familiar story for a team that leads the National League in home runs. Bloxton last night hit his 14th.
Yep, only the Astros have hit more in all of baseball.
Out now to the Brewers center fielder. He too made a nice running catch last night. I'm able to say that a lot. This time as a Brewer. Once again, showing that ability. He will slump, but he has shown the ability to fight his way through it. This time he goes down swinging for out number 1.
Keon would like to be able to cut down on the strikeout. There's a 3-2 curveball from Montgomery. Yeah, good pitch. You can see Broxton pulls his head and swings over the top of it.
One away in the second inning. Start number 6 for the Cubs left-hander. Originally a first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Royals 9 years ago.
Starting pitching has been very average this year for the Cubs. That was really a strong suit for them last year. Bullpen has been good, second best in the National League as far as earned run average. offense down for the Cubs. Just have not been able to put it together. Brewers are just fine with that.
If you need about 3 or 4 more months to figure it out, that's okay. Garcia gets a good hack, 2-1 the count. He's been hitting it at a better clip over the last month and a half in the big leagues than Orlando Arcia. 359 since the middle of May. On his ability to go the opposite field, but we have seen much more of Arcia pulling the ball in the last 4 to 6 weeks. Be kind of honest now defensively against him. He sprays it around.
Yeah. Slider down in the dirt, knowing that Arcia very aggressive. Swung a ball 4. Still going to right field, but when he gets a pitch with the count in his favor, he's going to pull it somewhere. Likes to attack early. First 3 pitches normally does most of his damage.
Payoff pitch coming to Arcia. Strike 3 called, and he knew it. Back strikeouts here in the 2nd inning for Montgomery.
They got Broxton on a curveball. Here's a fastball right on the outside corner. And Contreras holds it right there for Eric Cooper. Yep, Arcia knew it. 93 miles an hour.
2 men out for Zach Davies. Pulls one in there for strike 1. Davies with 3 hits on the year, an RBI. Not messing around, Montgomery against Davies. Comebacker. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Montgomery. He settles down after the Brewers get 2 quick ones. 1-2-3 they go in the 2nd. Bottom of the 2nd. Brock, let's check out that Brewers defense.
Well, you got Braun, Broxton, Santana in the outfield. A little different on the corners. Hernan Perez at third base. Travis Shaw sits this one out with the left-hander out there. No Thames. You got Aguilar at first. Manny Pena behind home plate. And you figure Manny he caught yesterday, today, and probably tomorrow against another left-hander for the Yankees.
face Jordan Montgomery tomorrow for New York. Here's Kyle Schwarber back up at the big club. Mentioned the Brewers transaction. Rick Sogard on the DL. Yadier Rivera is up, and Schwarber is back. John Lackey on the disabled list for the Cubs. Just a 171 average for Schwarber, but in his time with AAA Iowa, he showed signs of getting things back on track. Hit for average, hit 4 homers, and talked about shortening his swing a bit.
171 average, but the 12 home runs, nothing wrong with that.
Remember, he played all of 2 regular season games last year. Good hit there in a foul ball. That knee injury that surprised about everyone, that he came back in time to DH in the World Series. Went 7 for 17 for Joe Maddon's club.
I think that's more of the surprise than the slow start this year. I mean, it's not very easy to miss an entire season and then come back swinging the bat like you did the year before. It's just impossible. But you know, his success in the postseason was really unusual. If they're sitting out that much time.
That was a remarkable story. His career, you could say, at this level is still just starting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So I would imagine for Schwarber, the Brewers have the big shift on. See, again, that's VR out there in shallow right field. See that reasonably often with this ball club.
And he plays deep out there because he has such a good throwing arm. You can go as deep as you feel as though you can get an out on a ground ball, and with his arm he can go extra deep.
Schwarber has homered against Brewers pitching 5 times in his brief career, including once against Davies in 6 at-bats. Payoff pitch. That's driven down the line in right field, but a foul ball.
And curveball on a 3-2 count and left it up in the eyes of Schwarber. Very fortunate that he hooked it foul. Yeah, not where you want to leave a curveball.
Gets away with it. 3-2 pitch coming again to the left fielder. That's strike 3 call.
I didn't expect that. On the inside corner and got it. Got the call. And Schwarber looking for something else. This pitch pretty much down the middle. I think Schwarber knew it was a strike. Check it out. I mean, this is pretty much center cut, but right at the top of the strike zone.
First out of the inning, and now Wilson Contreras to the plate. Led off yesterday for the Cubs. Mentioned in Brewers Live pregame, Joe Maddon has used 8 different hitters at the top of the order this season. Jay at the top today.
Yeah, they really do miss Dexter Fowler. I mean, that the leadoff hitter, consistent, got on base, run producer.
Ground ball to Orlando Marcia. Tag applied by Aguilar. 2 up, 2 down in the second.
You know, with Dexter Fowler in the leadoff spot last year, the Cubs were 80 and 38. You think he made a difference?
Just a little.
Yeah, no kidding.
Had tried Schwarber at the top 3 dozen times, as a matter of fact, 3 dozen games. Really didn't go well. He's had Rizzo there. We mentioned Contreras, John Jay top today. Trying to find that consistent answer. Jason Hayward. To be fair to this Cubs team, they have had some injuries, including Hayward. Back recently off the DL, had a cut to his hand, kept him out of the lineup.
Who's not experiencing injuries these days? I mean, every team goes through it. Just a matter of whether when your big guys go on the DL, or the other guy is going to be able to pick it up. Brewers have been able to do that.
Yeah, a difference, and one of the reasons why this Brewers team is in first. We mentioned what they have been able to do without Ryan Braun, and the Cubs have had a little more difficult time finding answers. Listen, Hayward, they missed Zobrist for a while, but then Zobrist back off the DL.
Yeah, the Brewers lost their closer. Their closer ineffective. They DFA'd Neftali Feliz. Corey Knebel picked it up. They lost their opening day starter, and now Anderson's on the DL.
It's really rolling. Hayward pops this one up. Will be in play. Looking up into that high sky is Pena, and he will make the catch.
That's not an easy play.
Wow, that was tough, but he handles it. Jonathan Villar is going to lead things off as we move to the third. That thing started with a walk, part of a 2-run first. Let's see what he does in inning number 3. 2-0 Brewers.
Off the 1982 anniversary weekend with a Paul Molitor replica jersey giveaway. With the first 20,000 fans in attendance at the Brewers matchup with the Phillies on Friday, July 14th. That's courtesy of Experience Fitness. Reserve your spot today at brewers.com.
How fun is that weekend going to be?
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Wow. Celebrate the 82 pennant winners. Jonathan Villar leads off here in the top of the third. We're just checking us out. Eric Sogard placed on the 10-day DL. That tender ankle caused some problems. Yadiel Rivera called up, and Villar remains at the top of the order. Had a double yesterday, much needed. Brewers had a terrific homestand, but Villar struggled at the plate, and it has been a struggle for him at the plate in this first half. Council putting him back in the top of the order here again.
Which makes the run production the Brewers have been able to get this year even more impressive, because their leadoff hitter hasn't done a whole lot to this point. It's only the first half. Hopefully we'll be able to turn things around in the second half.
Pitch walk to him, his first plate appearance, and a strikeout here in his second, one away in the third. Four of them early on for Mike Montgomery. That faced Domingo Santana. Put up the scoring as the Brewers striking first in the first again.
get to Montgomery before he settles in. Brewers been able to do that to a lot of starters this year. Montgomery pitched into the 7th inning his last time out, although he did suffer a loss. And for a guy coming out of the bullpen, that's pretty good. 6 2/3, 4 runs against Cincinnati.
In his previous 5 starts, the Cubs have not scored more than 4 runs for him. That's how it works sometimes. Zach Davies has been the recipient of a lot of run support. With Montgomery, it's generally been the opposite. 2.80 earned run average. What happens with Montgomery the rest of his career? He will have his niche carved as he earned his first career save in Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Terrific series it was against the Cleveland Indians. They're finding out what a lot of clubs find out. It's hard to get there again.
Not the hunter, but the hunted. It's awfully difficult, right, to repeat. Back to the World Series. Even getting back to the postseason back-to-back years isn't a given.
Got to the NLCS 2 years ago. Swept away by the Mets. There's another walk. Second one given up now by Montgomery. Santana on with 1 out in the 3rd.
Yep, a curveball in the 3-2 count. He likes that curveball. 4-seamer, 2-seamer, cut fastball, curveball, changeup.
He came over in that trade with Seattle last July 20th. As a matter of fact, he started 5 times down the stretch, primarily out of the bullpen, but made 5 good starts mid-August through September. Faces Ryan Braun. Santana the runner at first. Mention this a lot against Central Division opponents. We seem like we talk about it all the time against the Reds. Braun has enjoyed hitting against the Cubs in his career.
And the familiarity, not just of the pitching staffs, but the ballparks themselves.
0-1 the count. That is hit in the air to center field. Back goes John Jay, and it is gone in the basket. Ryan Braun to dead center, and it's 4-0.
That on cue, partner. Well done. He loves Cubs pitching, and he likes hitting here at Wrigley Field. And particularly when the wind is not blowing in their face. Just in that basket. Looked like John Jay thought he had a play on it. But that baby just kept carrying. Fastball, this one out over the plate, and he gives this one a ride into center field. Nice easy swing. He's got that good backspin on it, and just drops it in that basket. Barely.
Jesus Aguilar. 14th homer for Braun in this ballpark. Shot here in the 3rd inning.
And the walk has really hurt Montgomery in this game, right? Leadoff walk to VR. Brewers ended up putting up 2 runs. And walk and home run.
To Aguilar. Brewers now with 133 home runs on the year. And number 10 for Ryan Braun. So another Brewer in double digits. Big fly. Brewers doing this against Montgomery. We mentioned he's been pitching well, and especially here. 1.80 earned run average in his first couple of starts at Wrigley Field.
Well, he's only given up 3 home runs. I mean, we're talking this is his 24th appearance, but only 6th start. But he has been able to keep the baseball in the ballpark.
Ready with the 2-2 pitch. Aguilar gets into one into left field, and that's off the wall. And this is going to be a long single for Aguilar as that got to the wall in a hurry, and Schwarber is on it.
A couple of hard hit balls. Aguilar centers on that one, and yeah, get under it just a little bit. That's another big fly. It looked like the cutter right there. You can see the rotation on it, 87 miles an hour, and Aguilar able to barrel it up right off the metal doors out there to the bullpen.
One out, Aguilar the runner at first for Hernan Perez. The guy's single for Hernan in the first inning. That is sharply hit by Bryant. The Brewers continuing to swing the bats.
Not messing around. Another fastball, and Perez able to turn on it. His second hit, RBI in the first into center field. This one middle in and rips it into left. Came on the air talking about this red hot offense, and it has not slowed him down being at Wrigley Field.
5 hits against Mike Montgomery, and that will warrant a visit from Chris Bosio.
The Brewers have been able to jump on top in just about every game last 7. It takes a lot of pressure off that starting pitching.
Brewers mentioned the support that Zach Davies has had. 9 of his first 17 starts, the Brewers have scored at least 6 runs. Continuing that today, including a Ryan Braun 2-run homer. Exit velocity at 106. Long ball from Braun. There's Manny Pena.
Yeah, Brewers have really been jumping on Montgomery early. 4 of their 5 hits have come in the first 3 pitches of the at-bat. Yeah, why wait around, right? Especially for a team that strikes out a lot. You want to try not to get the 2 strikes. So you get a pitch early in the count, you jump on it.
And they have. Back singles from Aguilar and Perez to follow the Ryan Braun 2-run homer. The last 4 Brewers have reached after Villar began the inning with a strikeout. Santana got it started with a walk. It's 2-0 to Pena. Breaking it down for Chase Anderson there.
Saying, you know, you get a fastball out over the plate, give it a good swing, you too might be able to hit one out. Or something like that.
Simple as that. 3-0 to Pena, who has walked but 9 times this season. On base percentage, though very good. Average at 288, on base percentage at 332. Getting some activity in their bullpen here with 1 out in the 3rd. One pitch. That's into center field. That's going to drop a base hit. Here comes Aguilar. He'll challenge John Jay. Throw is cut off, and it's a 5-0 ball game. RBI for Manny Pena as the Brewers just pound away against Mike Montgomery.
Yeah, 4 consecutive hits, and this on a 3-1 pitch. That fastball, he knows it's coming and gets one right down the middle, and this hits a bullet into center field. John Jay not blessed with the greatest throwing arm as far as strength goes, but he's pretty accurate. And he does hit the cutoff man, but Perez is able to get into third base standing up. So another good at bat for the Brewers. And they extend their lead.
5 straight have reached home run and 4 singles. And Joe Madden has seen enough. Jack Lettersich had been warming up. Madden's going to exchange one lefty for another, as the Brewers have pounced on Mike Montgomery this afternoon. Pitching very well in the starting role. Different story today. Pitching change at Wrigley. Montgomery, 5-0 Brewers with 1 out here in the third. A Saturday at 6 on Fox. Andrew McCutchen of the Pittsburgh Pirates take on Anthony Rizzo and the Cubs, and then the Cincinnati Reds square off with Paul Goldschmidt and the Diamondbacks. That's at 9 only on FS1. Joe Madden forced to go to his bullpen very early this afternoon. Montgomery did not have it. These 5 Brewers have reached, and he has to turn to another lefty, Jack Lettersich.
He got called up Tuesday from AAA Iowa. He was throwing the baseball pretty well down in the minor leagues before his call up. This is his first activity in the major leagues since 2015 with the Mets.
26-year-old, a 5th-round pick by the Mets 6 years ago. They face Keon Broxton. See his numbers at AAA. Signed a free agent deal with the Cubs in December of 2015. Added to the 40-man roster this past offseason. Mentioned it with Montgomery, who had not allowed a lot of home runs so far this season. He gave one up to Braun today. Lettersich in the minors was very good at keeping the ball in the ballpark. 60 innings. He's only taken deep 14 times.
This normally means he has a pretty good sinker. Not always, but most of the time. You know, fastball, curveball, changeup for the left-hander.
Runners, Perez at third, Pena at first. Broxton struck out an inning ago. Talked about it last night. NBA with Broxton trying to shorten those slumps. He can get red hot for stretches, and he can go ice cold Good news is he battles back from those ice cold stretches. They're just trying to get things fixed so he has fewer of those kind of stretches.
He stays positive, no doubt, and his defense has not really fallen off when he's in those slumps.
That's a good take as Broxton draws a walk, and the Brewers have him loaded. 1 out in the 3rd.
Yeah, that one didn't miss by much.
Loaded up for Orlando Arcia. He's one of 4 strikeout victims for Montgomery, but you see Brewers are everywhere. Perez at 3rd, Pena at 2nd, Broxton the runner at 1st. Misses with a curveball. Keeps pushing that average up. He's chasing 300. 291 at the moment.
And balanced out his game nicely. I mean, defense at the plate. Been fun to watch this guy.
Contreras has to go out and get it.
And now you figure Arcia is going to get a fastball here, and missed with a couple of breaking pitches. Not even close. And if you're Arcia, you're looking for a fastball in a certain spot. You don't get it, take it. Try and drive one into a gap somewhere.
The word there is drive. He has proven an ability to do that, but not even close is Leathersich here. It's now 3-0. Mentioned that appearance of a series of appearances with the Mets a couple of years ago. His season was cut short. Tommy John surgery in late July of 2015. Now back in the bigs, and he has just walked home a runner. 4-pitch pass to Arcia, and it's 6-0 Brewers.
Yeah, 7 consecutive base runners for the Brewers, and 3 of them have been walks. Joe Madden trying to figure out what he's got to do to pull off this Brewers offense.
Jonathan Villar led off this inning with a strikeout. 7 straight Brewers have reached since. And here's Zach Davies, and he looks at one away. Return to the big leagues not going well for Jack Leathersich, the 26-year-old. His college ball at UMass Lowell. Why not take it? How lonely must it feel for Leathersich right now? You get the Bronx cheer here in Chicago.
All right. See if Zach can dump one over Rizzo's head here.
2 balls, 1 strike to Davies. He has driven in 1 run this season. He has 3 hits. Much more run support today as Leathersich is on the brink of walking in another. Find the strike zone. No, he cannot. Make it 7-0 Brewers.
They walk the pitcher on a 3-1 count. And nobody going to help you out there. It's all Leathersich. He's got to figure this one out himself. Can't imagine this early in the game that Joe Madden's going to get somebody up. Going to leave him in there down by 7. If you're throwing pitches all over the place, you're not going to get help from the umpire, and that one just missed the bottom of the zone.
Now VR at the plate. What a great chance for him to bust loose. Still Trying to get things straightened out, generally speaking, but certainly from the right side of the plate, where the career numbers are actually better for him, but this year that has not been the case. And 78's coming into the game as VR against left-handed pitching. Career 260 and on-base percentage of .329. And that's hit in the air, left center field. Schwarber will make the catch, tagging. Well, he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball, but they're going to call him out, and I think he'll be out. Ball popped out of the transfer. Broxton is able to tag and score, and Arcia moves to third. 8-0. Great counsel saying, let's hang on here.
Make sure he had grip on it. I'm not sure that why Schwarber's coming into the infield. Yeah, he had it. He had it in the glove, and he dropped it on the transfer. Run's going to score, and for some reason Schwarber is questioning something going on at third base. Maybe tagging up left early, not sure.
It'll be a sacrifice fly and an E7 to allow Arcia to get to third.
And the ball comes right out of his hand in his effort to get the throw in. Wow.
A 6-run third. The Brewers aren't done yet. Domingo Santana walked earlier this inning. Arcia at third. Zach Davies the runner at first. As the Brewers pop it open in inning number 3. Eight straight Brewers had reached until that fly ball from VR. RBI for Jonathan is in 30 on the season. Fastball from Leathersich evens the count. Fastball there in on the hands. 1-2. Saw that graphic a moment ago. That OPS really healthy at 855 for Santana. And that's hit in the air. That's going to fall into right center field. Arcia is in. Davies motors to third. Santana to second. And it's 9-0 Milwaukee. My goodness, the Brewers going to work.
No kidding. I mean, they're hitting everything. Patient at the plate. Good at bats, taking the ball to the opposite field, and a 7 spot for the Brewers in the 4th inning. My goodness. Fastball up and away, and look at Santana. He's shortening up that swing, just trying to put it in play, and drives it into the gap. Beat goes on. Ryan Braun coming up again.
A 2-run homer in this inning for Ryan Braun. He's had 14 of them in his career at Wrigley Field. He faces Jack Leathersich in the big leagues for the first time in a couple of years, and having a world of trouble getting anybody out. A world of trouble finding the strike zone.
Right. I mean, nobody's going to help him. When he throws strikes, the Brewers are hitting it somewhere. They're hitting it hard, and he tries to be fine on the corners. Can't find the plate.
2 balls, no strikes to Braun.
I said 7-run 4th. It's a 3rd inning. I got ahead of myself.
Joe Madden wishes it was the 8th. Inning that's approaching a half an hour in real time. Seems longer than that, no doubt, for Madden. 3-1 now to Braun. That was Braun's 14th homer here. It's his 32nd in his career against the Cubs. And the bases are loaded again. Another 4-pitch walk loads the bases again.
Legacy has only given up 1 hit. That's a double to Santana. 4 walks in the inning. He's given up a couple of runs. He's allowed all the runners that Montgomery put on base to score.
Jesus Aguilar, he singled to left earlier this inning. Struck out looking in the first. 13th man to hit here in the 3rd inning.
Umpire not going to help him either. I mean, really. I mean, some of these pitches have been close, but you know, the umpires in this league, they're not going to help you. If you're not throwing strikes, you're not going to get borderline calls.
Single for Aguilar, banged off the wall in left field. He hit a rope for Mike Montgomery. Davies the runner at third, Santana at second, Braun at first. It's 1-2 to Aguilar. Touchdown and an extra point so far for the Crew in the 3rd. Osich ahead of the count. Aguilar with 7 home runs. He's driven in 26. Fans liking what they're seeing. 1-2. Dismissed inside.
Yeah, pretty close. 94 in off the plate.
2-2 pitch coming to Aguilar. Got him swinging. And the inning is over. What an inning it was. About 30 minutes well spent for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ryan Braun got the scoring started in this 3rd with a 2-run homer off of Mike Montgomery. They put 5 more on after that. 9-0 through 2.5.
0-0 lead here at Wrigley Field. Zach Davies back to work, and this is the kind of game that has been sort of symbolic of Davies' season. Craig Counsell says sometimes the season doesn't always go the way you want for a starting pitcher, but he said, you know, the earned run average for Davies is higher for him at 5, but you look up and he still has 9 wins here on the season, going for number 10 here before the All-Star break. And Counsell said Davies has certainly had the benefit that our offense has scored a lot of runs for him, he said. But you have to give Davies credit that he continues to pitch, even when he doesn't have his best stuff of just grinding through the games. He says he can rebound from a tough inning. He can put up zeros when he has to. He's done a nice job extending outings when he's had to, and he's left games with leads, allowing the bullpen to go to work and do their role. So he said there's been a lot of value in what Davies has done in this first half of the season. And again, the team continues to win with him on the mound. They're 11-6 in his starts.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. And now the task for Davies is to throw strikes, right? You're up 9-0. Stay dialed in as Javier Baez waves at a curveball.
Yeah, pretend while you're out there that it's 0-0. But the Brewers in that Orioles series did a very good job pitching with a lead. And what you mean by that is not messing around, attacking the strike zone, not walking batters, and that's what Davey has to do here today.
Staked a 9-run lead, 8-9-1 here in the order for the Cubs as Baez will dunk one into right field, and that's how the home half of the third begins. Hit number 3 for the Cubs. Pinch hitter, Albert Almora. Spot. So a pinch hitting parade, you would think, here for Joe Madden.
Yeah, he's got 5 guys on his bench. Brewers with 4, which means that the Cubs have 1 less guy in their bullpen. Actually, no, they have 8.
Almora takes a strike. Sophia's report about Zach Davies and what he's been doing. In that Baltimore series, it really was total package. And I make a strong argument it started with the Brewers starters. Gave up nothing in that series against the Orioles. Brock, they have been just getting really, really good work out of that rotation.
Yeah, they're eating up innings. They've been throwing a lot of strikes. The walk to strikeout ratio for the guys have been very good. Craig Counsell very pleased with the way his rotation has come around. Derek Johnson deserves a lot of credit for that.
To pitch.
And when you consider you have your #1 starter on the disabled list, Chase Anderson, who was one of the best in the National League. This is what they have done, and what they did against the Orioles. Not only pitching well and limiting the opponent, not only hits, but did not allow a run in 3 starts. Eating up innings, 6, 7, and 6 1/3 for Garza in last night's ball game.
0-2 the count to Almora, and he rips one into left field. Back-to-back singles from the Cubs here in the 3rd.
And now you got the top of the order coming up. Well, the issue for Zach when he gets in trouble is the breaking stuff and the changeups that have been up in the strike zone. Curveball has been inconsistent. The changeup has been up a little bit. Here's that curveball. He's made a number of mistakes with that pitch. It's a 2-strike curveball right down the middle around the belt.
Had a lot of time to watch. Actually, he got involved. Davies at the plate, walked in a run. The inning took about 30 minutes. It's John Che. He was already a turn 1 double play today. That was in the 1st. They got Chris Bryant to bounce into a 4-6-3. It into more than their share of double plays. That was the 72nd, as a matter of fact, in the year that they've hit into. Jay got the rally started for the Cubs yesterday afternoon. They spotted the Rays a 3-0 lead and then scored 7 unanswered. 3 of them coming on a home run from Jay. Pinch hit roll. Cut there, and he's down the count 1-2. You want to see Zach put a hitter away. All 4 of the Cubs' hits have come with 2 strikes. Double from Baez, a single from the pinch hitter Albert Almora Jr. Hitting. A 1-2 pitch, and the bases are loaded.
Last thing you want when your team puts up a 7 spot is for you to load the bases with nobody out. Zach Davies in big trouble here. This might be one of those days at Wrigley Field. You get the sense?
We've had a few of them here through the years. Sometimes 22 runs isn't enough.
Right. No kidding, right?
Here's Bryant. So he bounced into a double play in the first. Smokes one into the crowd. To get him going, he has 16 homers. He's driven in 33. His numbers with runners in scoring position, though, just a shade better than 200. Davies trying to keep it that way. League Player of the Year in 2014, Rookie of the Year in the National League 2015, the MVP last year. So he has done in situations just like this.
And a world championship under his belt. Pretty good start to a career.
Yes, it is. He, like all of his teammates, wear the big old target. Lovable losers no more. 2 singles. John Jay hit by a pitch. So the Cubs have him loaded in the third. The bouncing ball to Arcia. They'll trade the run for the outs, and they get the double. No, they don't. Bryant able to leg it out. Aguilar would like another look. Baez is in. First run of the day for the Cubs.
Well, right now it's a fielder's choice, and it looks like Gary Cederstrom was right on the money with that call at first. Looked like Brian beat it. Good call at first. That's the other thing about Brian's game. He can run. I mean, that's a double play ball ordinarily with 90% of guys in baseball, but he surprises you with his speed.
Just does beat it out. Here's at the corners. One out for Anthony Rizzo. One on 4 hits. Cubs, 9 runs on 7 hits for the Brewers. Cubs trying to start to chip away here. Still very early in this game. Cubs recently go Miguel Montero. Rizzo had some pretty strong comments. Montero had a rough day behind the plate. Stolen base after stolen base against him. Would really have a great chance to hit runners, and he said exactly that. Joe Arrieta, the starting pitcher that day, didn't go over very well, and Rizzo was protecting his teammate, his pitcher. Montero has moved on.
Yep, kind of taking sides, right? And I guess whatever side Rizzo takes, the other guy's in bad shape.
Yeah, you probably want to be aligned with the first baseman around here. This is popped up. Arcia will call for it, fighting that sun. 2 men out.
Hey, the 1982 anniversary weekend is coming up. after the All-Star break, and you're going to want to get to the ballpark early on Saturday, July 15th to catch all the pre-game festivities, including free autograph session with members of the 1982 squad, plus a special on-field ceremony. Visit Brewers.com for details.
Quite the weekend. Great trip down memory lane. All those guys who were coming back. All the fans who would be there. Big crowds. Certainly think.
Yeah, a lot of the guys are coming back. Those that don't have other responsibilities.
Good way to get things started coming out of the All-Star break. At the plate. Big thought about Miguel Montero. He is now a Toronto Blue Jay.
Backing up Russell Martin.
Right. Happ having a terrific start in his big league career, showing a lot of power. Highly regarded prospect. He began this season as the top prospect in the organization. 12 homers for him already. 2-0 the count.
Interesting combination for Happ, second base and outfield.
There's some questions as to how well he could field his position at second. He has answered that pretty well with the big club. Had his struggles at times during spring training. You're right, it's unusual to change up the babies and even the count.
Yeah, that's where you want it, down and away like that. Good movement going away from the lefty. That's his good one.
Put away Ian Happ on what proved to be the game-winning hit yesterday against the Rays. And a strikeout swing, another change in Davies. After a rough start of the inning, he's up in pretty good shape. He gives up just a run. 9-1 after 3. Always from Jeff Grayson. As always, bringing it, Rock.
Yeah, he never has a day off, does he? Justin Grimm taking over here in the 4th inning, 30th appearance, a .426 earned run average.
Already the 3rd pitcher used by Joe Madden this afternoon. The starter Mike Montgomery lasting 2 1/3. John Leathersich 2/3, walks 4, walks in a couple as a matter of fact. And Perez leading off here in the 4th. Good work by Zach Davies. The Cubs had him loaded with nobody out. Got just a run. There's a roller to Baez. Out number 1. One out of the 4th for Manny Pena. Involved in that hit parade in the 3rd inning. RBI single. One of 8 straight Brewers to reach. Combination of Montgomery and Leathersich.
And it played by Baez, a nice play up the middle, and sidearm, kind of a quick flip to over to first base, had something on it. He's got a pretty nice arm. Guy that can play anywhere as well. Put him anywhere in the infield, throw him in the outfield.
See that versatility and how valuable it is with the Brewers. It goes throughout baseball, especially the better teams, it seems. You know, guys who can move around for you. Not many better than Hernan Perez when it comes to being versatile. And swinging a miss from Pena. Secure the strikeout, and there are 2 men out of the 4th.
Grimm last appeared in the game for Chicago on 4th of July against Tampa. 2 2/3 scoreless innings. So he's a guy that can give Bill Madden multiple innings, and I think that's what Madden needs here in this situation.
Pirates come to town. Start a series tomorrow here at Wrigley Field. Brewers move on to New York, play the Yankees. As difficult as this is, the Brewers are losing the off day because of the rainout on May 20th. Craig Counsell before the game yesterday, and he repeated it again earlier today, that under the circumstances it certainly could have been worse. It's a bus ride, and like they have to go out to Colorado and then go to New York.
Right.
And they had some, quote, normal games, if you will. They've had so many close games where the bullpen has been taxed. The bullpen comes in pretty good shape. Turns something that could be a negative. It was frustrating for this ball club that postponement on May 20th, but you deal with it, you move on, and the score would indicate, at least at this stage, the Brewers are moving on pretty well.
Yeah, and being in Chicago here for the day game, it's going to be a lot less expensive for everybody not to have a night off in New York City.
See, that's another looking at the bright side in all this.
That is good. That would be a meal money killer right there.
A budget buster.
It's got to be glass half full, right?
That's exactly right. We try to do that around here. 2 balls, 1 strike to Keon Broxton. And of course, it gives us a chance to say hello to Mark Vittorio, our producer here today.
Yeah, he's usually our director, one of our directors, and filling in the producer's seat, doing a nice job, by the way.
As always, Bernardo Lowe, our director.
Nice calming voice of Vito.
Full count to Broxton. BA will be back at some point after the All-Star break, I believe. He's away here for the next few days. He will return.
Good to have you back.
Good to be back.
What have you been doing to yourself?
Putting on weight, sitting around a lot, enjoying summer, barbecues, you know.
Just like when you're working here, right?
Pretty much.
Except for the barbecues.
Yeah, but putting on weight, yeah. Enjoying the summertime.
Yeah.
And you're always here.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right.
Nice day here at Wrigley Field. Packed house. Brewers with a lead. Where would you rather be?
This is the place. You ask those guys, they are thrilled to be here. and works another walk. It's the second time he has drawn a walk here this afternoon. The 2-out base runner for Orlando Arcia. Let's check out our Powerball home run count. The Brewers. Charlie Shaw not in the lineup, but he has been a big load, and Arcia showing some pop as well. Powerball home run count, 133 of them now for the Brewers, best in the National League.
Yeah, last 18 home runs for the Brewers, hit by 10 different guys. That's what you call a well spread out offense.
Well, they began the year like that, right? I mean, everybody was getting involved.
And that gives you staying power throughout the year, not relying on 2 or 3 guys every night. Seems like the Cubs do, at least to this point.
Power distribution, the great month of April for Eric Thames. Ryan Braun, a 2-run homer this afternoon.
Only the Houston Astros have hit more home runs in all of baseball.
136. Council's Crushers in hot pursuit. Did we let go of that, or you kind of every now and then?
Just didn't latch on,
No.
I figured I'd let it rest.
All right.
I'm not going to be the only one to say it.
Broxton's running, and Contreras will have no chance.
It's one of those things you fling it against the wall and you see what sticks. That one did not.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I thought, I don't know if I've heard that a whole lot lately. So 1 and done.
A couple of times just to see if maybe somebody didn't hear it the first time. But haven't used it in a while.
Can't get a hit if you don't swing. Arcia swings and a little dribbler to Rizzo, and the field is in time. We'll do it for the Brewers in the 4th. Bottom of the 4th at Wrigley. 1-1 Brewers.
League report, we check in on how Lewis Brinson has been doing since he got sent back down to AAA Colorado Springs. Yesterday, he went 3 for 8 with 3 runs, a home run, and an RBI in both games of a doubleheader for the Sky Sox. And since he's gone back down to Colorado, he has just continued to produce. He's now hitting .435, 6 doubles for him, a triple. He has 4 home runs, 17 RBIs, and 3 walks. So Brinson just continues to excel down at AAA Colorado Springs after coming up to the big leagues, and he's getting ready to participate in the Futures game coming up here this weekend at Marlins Park.
All right, thanks, Sophia. That's really encouraging, Rock. When you get that taste of the big leagues for a few days, the big league life, then you go back down to AAA. I would think that could be a little bit tough. Brinson has proven that he's all right.
Yeah, not really in his situation. I mean, he knew he was up for a short period of time, and And he really was not able to establish that comfort level in the batter's box. He did a really good job defensively, but I knew it was short-lived. He has the experience now, so the next time he comes up, I think you're going to see the real Lewis Brinson at the plate. It's all about playing time, consistent playing time for young kids like that.
Schwarber not liking that second strike call from Eric Cooper. Well, Brinson definitely has the look. He is well put together, terrific demeanor. Robbed of the hit right away. Series in Arizona a few weeks ago. Schwarber into the shift. The yard charging. That's out number 1.
Yeah, there's that big arm. That's why he can play so deep. Hey, you get your very own 1982 AL Champs replica ring, modeled after the ones the Brewers received from an independent 35 years ago. By heading to Miller Park on Sunday, July 16th, the crew hosts the Phillies that day. And all fans in attendance will get this collectible giveaway, courtesy of Chevrolet.
It's a nice looking replica ring.
It's legit.
Yeah. I know you guys saw Augie's earlier in the week. I got to see it from Jerry yesterday or last night ball game. So he's only won it like 2 or 3 times. Modest.
Augie's not one of those guys that flaunt. He's not a flaunter.
Put your hand up, scratch your.
Plus, you know how Augie is. He'd lose it. He'd show it to somebody, walk off, just forget where he left it.
The real story. That's going to be a weekend where so many of the fans who are of age, they don't remember where they were if they weren't at County Stadium, but watching, listening, where were you when? Yep. On the pennant, in the World Series. It'll be fun for this group of players too, carving out their own story, but a little up close look at a championship team 35 years later. Two the count to Wilson Contreras. It's hit well into center field. Braxton will only watch, and it's 9-2. For the 25-year-old catcher. Location to Zach Davies.
Even with an 8-run lead, you can't put a fastball in this location and expect to get away with it. That pitch up, out over the plate, around belt high, and Contreras knocks it out of here. Struggle with the location throughout the season for Zach. There have been times that he has had pinpoint control, but there have been other times where it's been difficult to put the baseball where he wants it.
There's room to work with here, but mentioned the way baseball is today, the warm conditions, the wind kicking out toward left.
See, that's why you don't mind the stolen base by Broxton with an 8-run lead, because no lead is safe in baseball these days. Ordinarily, you go back maybe 10, 15 years, it would be frowned upon, but not today.
With home runs, that's what the Brewers have done, but throughout baseball, a record pace after a record month of June. Teams can make up deficits.
Yeah, they can, and they have this year.
Especially in this kind of a park on this kind of a day.
You get as many as you can, no matter how you get them. Stealing bases, bunting, whatever.
3-1 to Jason Hayward. Last year hit just .230, average up nearly 30 points so far this season. He's hitting the left center. Long run, Blackston reaching up and pulls it down.
He's all right. That's how he broke that wrist last year. Same exact play, and is he all right? I don't know. That is almost the exact play last year where he crashed into the wall here at Wrigley and hurt his wrist, actually broke his wrist.
Yeah, he hates that wall. You can just tell.
Same thing, goes up against it. He goes in there hard. Not sure what is bothering him right now, but it looks like he's going to be all right. That Ivy doesn't give too much.
No.
That's still a brick wall back there.
Look at him.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I mean, after what happened to him last year, he's not timid going into that wall.
Great point. You would think after having a season-ending injury last year that you'd be a little timid. Not this guy.
No.
Catch.
Oh, that ball's carrying the left, isn't it?
Sure is.
Oh, boy.
We were talking about that before the game today. Javi Baez with a bouncer to Perez. That'll do it for the Cubs here in the fourth. They pick up another run, but Keon Broxton taking away extra bases. 9-2 Brewers after 4. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Gorgeous summer day in Chicago. Good day for the Brewers going on, at least through the first 4. 1-2. Blue Crew. Zach Davies will lead off here in the 5th against Justin Grimm. To Chris Bryant, route number 1. Top of the order where VR had a couple of plate appearances in the 3rd inning. Got the sacrifice fly. The Brewers, you're just tuning in. Out to that big number, getting 2 in the 1st and 7 in the 3rd. Straight Brewers reaching off the combination of Mike Montgomery, Jack Leathersich, and VR with a base hit.
Yeah, 4 walks in the inning, and 2 of the walks plated runs from Milwaukee. Getting hits, drawing walks, and now VR getting into the act. The base hit the right. Good speed at first base.
So the time he's reached today.
One way to tell that Joe Madden and the Cubs still feel as though it is a running situation in this game. Is the fact that Rizzo's holding him on at first.
They are with 15 stolen bases, 20 tries. The league last year was 62. Fastball from Grimm. Cubs pitching has yet to retire Domingo today. A couple of RBI doubles and a walk.
Such a nice piece of hitting his last time up on a fastball away. Drove it into the gap in right center. Doubled down the line and left his first time up, and double into right center last time. So covering both sides of the plate very well.
2-strike pitch coming. And another base hit for Santana. As he's swinging the bat. Back-to-back one-out hits, setting the table for Ryan Braun. We've talked throughout this game already of how he loves playing in this ballpark. Watch him go to work. Check out those numbers in 70 career games at the friendly confines.
Well, you pick a ballpark in the Central Division, and I think the numbers are going to be very similar. You know, just the familiarity of the surroundings and facing this pitching quite a bit. Ryan Braun has good numbers against just about everybody.
National League Central Parks to his liking. The last highlight, by the way, from earlier this afternoon, the third inning, 2-run homer for Braun. Wave and a miss. Ten homers, 23 RBIs now for Braun. Missed 39 games because of that calf injury. It's a little hitting streak going though. Home run extends his run to 8.
Yeah, very impressive yesterday for Ryan Braun, able to score on a ball into the outfield. He had to cut third base very sharply and seemed to be all right. That's a good test for that calf injury. It seems to be 100%.
1-1 the count. Runners are going. Braun a swing and a miss, and the Brewers execute the double steal as the throw gets by Happ and VR is in. Brewers continuing to put their foot on the gas pedal. Why not?
Yeah, got to do it. I mean, the Cubs, I mean, they can put some runs on the board, so just keep running. That's their game. Power and speed. VR takes off. Santana behind him. Not sure who that error should be on. That wasn't a bad throw by Contreras. Happ not able to hold on to it, and VR scores. Be an error on somebody.
Santana moving to third. VR is in. 1-2 the count to Braun. Contreras has to go down and hit it.
Contreras has been busy blocking pitches today. That's what Jonathan VR provides when he gets on base. Keeps that defense guessing. Makes things happen.
Error will be charged to Contreras. It's a tough one though.
Yeah, it is. It wasn't a bad throw.
Rookie second baseman gets the benefit of the doubt. Two strikes to Braun. Ground ball, a 2-run homer, and a walk. Bounces up there.
Well, catcher is always told that the trail runner is not going to get as good a lead or a jump. Check out the throw. Kind of an interesting way for Happ. I mean, he's on his knees in front of the bag, and that could have gone either way with the error.
Good count to Braun. Missed. Brewers have him at the corners. Run in. 2 more aboard.
And another walk. That's 8 walks issued by the Cubs.
It hurt him early. Aguilar wants to hurt him even more. 3rd inning single is a rope off the wall and left. With a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Good option for Craig Counsell to turn to. Calls that position player group. Doesn't use the term bench.
Yeah, there is no bench. I mean, they all play. Some more than others, but they all feel like they're involved and they've all been productive. Craig Counsell says just about every day somebody different steps up on this team offensively.
And Aguilar steps up again. Run scoring single. Santana's in. It's 11-2 Brewers.
And just another good piece of hitting by Jesus Aguilar, just sticking a bat out there. Slider down the middle. Taking advantage of bad pitches, swinging at strikes, and just the beat goes on for the Brewers. 11 here in the first 5 innings.
Matt trying to find an answer out of that bullpen. He's still looking. 11-2 the Crew in the 5th. Still hitting here in the top of the 5th in Chicago. Hey, Brewers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. The pitching change is Leathersich struggled, Grimm struggled, and now Hector Rondon on the mound.
Yeah, former closer for the Cubs. Started the year last year as a closer. They picked up Aroldis Chapman, and now he's in the 5th inning. 35th appearance, a .426 earned run average, and far more strikeouts than innings pitched. This guy's got good stuff.
Up there in a hurry, who will face Hernan Perez. Looks at a strike. Perez, RBI single in the 1st. Singled and scored in the 3rd, part of that 7-run inning. Works him away and chasing is Perez down the count. If you're wondering, there's no rain in the area. But having said that, there is still a long way to go.
Yeah, we've got a lot of baseball left today.
We do.
They're calling for showers later on this evening.
That's right. They were hoping for them right about now. It's just too wild of a game of baseball in general to start taking it to the house quite yet.
Right.
So you see a double steal. Brewers still pushing it as well. They should. Perez with a ground ball. He and Happ. Baez for one, and the throw not in time. 4-6.
Nice play at second base. Went down, got it. Baez with a big arm at short. Yeah, made it close, but nice play by Happ. Not the greatest range in the world, but Perez hits this one hard, goes down. Good throw to second. Almost turned a double play.
Rookie out there for his bat primarily, but you say he has improved defensively. Example of it there. Here's Manny Pena. Cut with a fastball from Rondon. Pena getting involved in the run production today. PS on the edge of 800. Trying to do a number of things today. If they win, they would go up to 4.5 games in their lead. So I'd like to get to 8 above 500. They have not been there since early September 3 years ago. I said before, though, when they do things that haven't been done for a while, these players are oblivious to most of it. Almost all of these players. Counsel the very beginning of his tenure as manager wasn't going to put a ceiling on this team. Go play, see what you could do.
Yeah, no limitations, he said, coming out of spring training.
Rondon ready with a 1-2.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun watching these guys in the first half of the season. A lot of baseball left. And consider, this is the first time a lot of these players are playing every day in the big leagues.
Talking before the game, this is a good atmosphere for these guys, these young guys, to be a part of. Includes someone like Manny Pena, who's 30 years old, but this is the first extended big league taste for him. Saw him last year, late in the year. It's encouraging what he was able to do, splitting his time this season. Primarily with Jet Bandy, but of course of late with Stephen Vogt. A wave and a miss, and Rondon finishes off the inning. Bottom of the 5th with the Brewers leading by 9. good reason to really hate the bricks here at Wrigley Field. This was mid-September last year, and this ended his season. Crashing into the wall, and today was the exact same spot.
Man, no kidding, and you can see his reaction. Doesn't like that wall out there, just to the right of the bullpen doors. He was fortunate that same thing didn't happen to him. One thing I like about Broxton, and that's what I like about most of these young guys, I mean, no fear. They play with no fear, not intimidated by that wall, and made a nice catch.
And talk smack to the wall.
Bad wall.
Bad wall. Don't like you. Something like that.
Something along those lines.
Hector Rondon will hit for himself here at the bottom of the fifth. I'll say something though, and have your season end crashing into the wall here. You go right back to it. In a game where it really is and still is, you're in command. Score doesn't matter. If it's a fly ball, guys like Keon Broxton are going to do everything they can to run it down.
All right.
Looks like a strike.
No half effort in this game, no matter what the score.
We're at bat number 2 for the Cubs reliever.
Joe Maddon needs innings, so he has his pitcher leading off.
The only big league at bat came a year ago. He struck out. 2-2 from Zach Davies. Hanging in there. Zach continue to bear down. Cubs had a big inning potentially going for them in the third. Bases loaded, nobody out, but they managed only a run. But in the fourth, Wilson Contreras with a solo homer. Get a couple more good innings here out of Davies. Tonight the Brewers used Oliver Drake, Jared Hughes, and Corey Knebel. It's a non-save situation for Knebel, but he needed the work actually. He had not been called upon since last Friday. Pitch number 9 of this at bat coming to Hector Rondon, hanging tough against Davis. Have done their work offensively with 2 strikes so far today.
Hanging in there, isn't he?
There is. The crowd acknowledges that.
Yeah, a lot of pitches right down the middle of the plate. Davies is saying, here it is, hit it, just pop it up somewhere, will you?
Roller over the Perez. Out number 1, Zach had to work for it.
He did. Hey, today's time of the game winner, Rosie's in Durand. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. It's offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. Miller Lite. Durand, Wisconsin, southwest of Eau Claire.
That's good knowledge. Mike Faulkner helping you out on the road, texting?
No, I've got my Google map. It's about 5.5 hours from Chicago.
You want to do a little side trip before we go to New York?
I think we're doing that, aren't we?
Yeah, this is the side trip.
Right.
Zach has gotten 7 ground ball outs this afternoon. This is John Jay. Last year with the San Diego Padres, that's the bulk of his big league work, then Cardinals. There's some good years to the 32-year-old. Together a good year so far this season. Davies ahead of the count, a ball, 2 strikes.
Chris Bryant's spot on deck, and it looks like Cartini, the other catcher. Joe Madden pulling his third baseman.
They have a few switch hitters in their 25-man. Cartini, one of them. Those young players. As you say, Cubs roster, they keep using the term defending world champs. You're a defending champ. A lot of coaches or managers, depending on the sport, they really don't like that term. So you're trying to get another one. And this is a different. You have guys like Rizzo and Bryant, but you have some other guys who their first taste of it in a Cubs uniform as Jay sends one to Aguilar. 2 up, 2 down. The work of Zach Davies this afternoon, getting a lot of run support, but holding up his end of the bargain here too, keeping the Cubs in check. Run support cannot be ignored.
Sends a tell. Look at that. We're 8 runs a game. Amazing. Jake Arrieta not too bad. And Zach Davies 6.8 every time he's out there. Some guys get all the runs. A game like this today is going to help that.
Trying to win for the 10th time this season is Davies. Caratini, 23-year-old from Puerto Rico, looking for his first hit. Last year, primarily in Double-A.
Looks like they're going to pull Rizzo as well. Stella on deck. Time with Stella.
Using his position player group, if you want to call it that, with his club. Game that the Brewers took command very early. So just at the midway point. Just past it now. The ball, 2 strikes. Davies to Caratini. That one clipped it.
Second hit batter, right?
Yes, it is.
And you got John Jay back in the third. Yeah, both of them on sliders or cutters, one of the two.
He's retired the first 2 in the inning.
Got him right on the foot.
Parade will continue. Tommy La Stella.
It's always good to have those 2 guys out of the lineup.
It is.
I mean, that's actually worth hitting Caratini just to make sure Joe Madden doesn't change his mind.
That's right. Good trade. Bryant Rizzo out of there.
Yeah. See ya.
First pitch swinging. La Stella. Yar to take care of it, and that will do it for the Cubs. And we are through 5 at Wrigley. 11-2 Milwaukee. Brewers and Yankees coming up over the weekend. 29 bombs. Tied Joe DiMaggio for a rookie record.
It's not even the All-Star break. He's got a little ways to go to maybe pass the great Joe DiMaggio.
Changes here for the Cubs. Tommy La Stella and Wilson Contreras, the corner infielders. Victor Caratini now behind the plate. Scratch Rizzo, scratch Bryant. As we move to the 6th. 11-2 the score. Hector Rondon stays on the mound. He'll face Keon Broxton. A couple of walks. He has struck out today. And another highlight reel catch. Crashed into the wall. A little scare for a few seconds, but outside of barking at the wall, he stays in the lineup. It's all right.
You never know what's behind that ivy. Maybe the wall barked back at him.
Don't want to get into an argument with the wall here. Cubs pitching has served up 8 walks so far this afternoon. Rondon a pitch away from making it 9. Runs on 10 hits for the Crew. Cashed in on some of those walks so far. 3-1 pitch. There is walk number 9.
Hey, just in time for the second half, the Brewers are launching a new monthly ticket subscription called the Ballpark Pass, which includes a standing room ticket to every home game the rest of the year. Just $29.99 per month. Sign up today at brewers.com/ballparkpass.
Get over there to Miller Park.
It's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, it is.
Into the ballpark and kind of roam around.
Brewers will be back at Miller Park right after the All-Star break when the Phillies are in. We're celebrating the 1982 American League Championship team. That's the one home series coming up here for a while. This game today begins a stretch where the Brewers are on the road 14 of 17. But they've traveled well.
Yes, they have. They've played well on the road.
Only the Nationals and the Dodgers have been better. Really, they're virtually even with the Dodgers. Council's team 21-17 away from Miller Park.
Right down the middle and hits a bullet into right. That's pretty swing by Orlando Arcia.
He showed signs late April. He had an opposite field home run in a game against the Braves, but he also doubled the left center, and that got the interest of Craig Counsell the next day. He was talking about that. What's the progression? Can he drive the ball? And sure enough, in the next week, 10 days, he started to do that. He went the other way here, but you have to respect his ability all over the park.
Right.
Zach Davies with a double play ball. Eyes out. Contreras. 6-4-3 on the double play.
You know, with normally with Davies at the plate or any pitcher in that situation going to be dropping down a bum, but I think Craig Counsell got the message from Joe Madden when he pinch hit for Brian and Rizzo, saying, "All right, call off the dogs here. Let me give some of my."
These teams will have 3 more series against one another, 2 at Miller Park. Brewers come here to Chicago for a 3-game set on September 8th. We'll see a fair amount of each other. That's how the scheduling works. Big dose of Central Division. Later in the year. There's Jonathan Villar. He stayed at the plate here so far. He's walked, singled, and scored. So,
with the big lead, there's certain things managers can do, not to take a little bit of the aggressiveness away. No stealing, no bunting for base hits. You don't swing at 3-0 pitches, but you can't ask guys to go up there and make outs. It's one thing you can't do in this game. Some of the unwritten rules in baseball, now that we're in the 6th inning, I think apply. Especially now that Rizzo and Bryant have been taken out.
Yeah, that was a big indicator. 2 balls, 1 strike. VR to left field. Schwarber, a sliding pitch. Nice play by Kyle Schwarber. As the Brewers are denied here in the 6th, but they still lead 11-2. Hot summer day, 41,000 plus at Wrigley Field. A lot of Brewer fans here. They're liking it. Top of the 6th inning, Zach Davies.
I was talking to somebody that came down on the train today, and they said it was packed with Brewers fans. The Hiawatha,
Nice.
Milwaukee to Chicago. Got big smiles on their face, I would imagine, right now.
Well, there's all kinds of fun to see. You know that Cubs fans travel well. Not just in Milwaukee, but they travel well throughout the big leagues, especially the Central Division opponents. It's nice to see it the other way around.
You ever come down on the train?
You know, I haven't, and I feel like I should. I know you guys, you and BA have done it. Sophia.
Nice and relaxing.
Yeah.
You know, avoid the traffic getting up to getting down here. Although last night on the bus, I mean, I don't think that bus ever slowed down all the way until it got off onto Ohio Avenue, Ohio Street. It's the quickest I've ever gotten to Chicago.
Yeah, that was one of the positives of this makeup game, is that the traffic was not an issue. And how often do you say that coming into this city?
Right, bus left Miller Park. There was 3 buses. Left the ballpark, what, about 10:30? 10:20? Got to the hotel at about 11:45.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Ian Happ. Off the home half of inning number 6. Davies has surrendered 5 hits, all with 2 strikes. Good work from Zach coming in the 3rd, the bottom of the 3rd, after a 7-run inning that took about a half an hour. Zach struggled early, gave up singles to Javier Baez, and Albert Almora Jr. hit John Jay with a pitch. So the Cubs were thinking they had a little something going, down 9-0, but Davies allowed just 1 run in that inning. The fly ball steered out toward Keon Broxton, out number 1, as we move on with this makeup game. The big crowd, Brewers in first. How big of a game is it? We check in with Sophia Minard.
Well, Craig Counsell was asked that question, and he said, you know, in the short term, yes, it's a big game because we're playing the Cubs, and it's always a big game when you play the Cubs, but for the sake that they're a team in our division and they're close to us in the standings, he said it's important for that in that regard. But he said, you know, in the long term, he says, this team has done a really good job of just focusing on what's the next challenge. And so he said, today is the next challenge. He said there aren't any breaks in the schedule, and yes, there's interesting circumstances that led to this game with the sunburn, rain out, losing an off day, etc. But he said overall, it's just another game on the schedule. And so he said it's tough to kind of play with that football-like intensity of, you know, maybe a 16-game season versus a long baseball season, 162 games. So he said it's kind of a short and long-term focus here.
It sounds like the sound of a guy who's been around the block a few times. But in the meantime, he watches his second baseman turn in another impressive play.
Yeah, nifty play, and you know, he's able to make that play because of that throwing arm. But I will say this about this game today, as opposed to an off game, an off day, when you're swinging the bats and playing and pitching like the Brewers have lately, you don't want an off day.
Right. You
want to keep playing. Last thing you want to do is break the momentum. And that's exactly what they have been able to do with this game today. You can say on the field, they put up 11 runs. Zach Davies has done a real good job today. And you go into New York even hotter than you were back on the homestand, because these guys, you know, once this game is over, if in fact they're able to finish this one off, looks like they're in good shape. They're going to go into New York City feeling pretty good about themselves.
Well, they should, as Davies works against Wilson Contreras. We talked about, too, Rock, in that series with the Orioles. That was a total package series, including the defense. And here's VR turning in more good defense.
All arm right here. They had the right guy running. Schwarber not real fast, but look at this. Off balance throw right on the money. And gets him by a step.
1-1 to Contreras, who homered his last trip with curve from Zach, and it's now 1-2.
And again, a statement game for Milwaukee against these Cubs. You know, if you know, you come in here and you take it to them like they have, I mean, this team's for real. They want to be treated as such.
Strikeout of Contreras, and a nice clean inning for Zach Davies. He's rolling along. The first place Brewers rolling along. 11-2 after 6. Domingo Santana set to lead things off. Brewers flexing their muscles again with the long ball today as we check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Eric Thames, Travis Shaw not in the lineup. They're at the top two, and Domingo Santana next in line. He has 14. His most recent one coming 5 days ago against the Marlins. Keon Broxton homered last night. 6 different Brewers now have at least 10 home runs on the year.
That's something.
Is impressive. Now the new pitcher, Brian Dunsing, another left-hander. So Madden calls upon.
Yeah, good numbers for Dunsing. You can see him right there, the former Minnesota Twin left-hander. So Joe Madden has used both of his left-handers. 34th appearance, 3.03 ERA. And more strikeouts than innings pitched.
Drafted by the Twins back in 05 in the 3rd round out of the University of Nebraska. Last year was with the Orioles. Good day for Santana. 3 hits, 2 singles, a double, a walk. Driven in a couple. Have a day. Talked a lot about Arcia, and rightly so. His offense, Santana might even be a bit more quiet, but you're looking at a 300+ hitter over the last 62, 63 games now. Swing and a miss here for out number 1. Arcia is on a clip that is ahead of the rest. Last 6 weeks in the big leagues. Flashing the leather all the while. Terrific plays. We're going to look at another slick fielding infielder up from Colorado Springs, Mario Rivera. He was up with Eric Sogard on the 10-day DL. As you mentioned, it's the bat that he's continuing to work on, trying to be a little more efficient there. Sogard, how good has he been as a Brewer? But we'll see him after the All-Star break.
Yeah. Done a well of a job as a leadoff hitter. Even with that bad ankle, he pinch hit a couple of days ago and lined a base hit to right. Just can't really run all that well. So with a 10-day DL and you have the All-Star break, why not?
It's been an interesting mix with this Brewers team. So many young players getting their first big dose of the big leagues. And you have guys who've been around a little bit. 2 former Oakland A's who are helping out the club with Eric Sogard and Stephen Vogt. It's a mix that is working. Sogard, like his buddy Vogt, are off to a great start in front of the home crowd. Big hits. Sogard showing maybe some power. Just gets on base. What he does.
Yeah. Gets things going. He certainly does. Stephen Vogt, another acquisition that has provided a lot of pop in that bat. Stearns has made some very nice pickups as of late. You know, pickups that not a whole lot of people talk about, but have helped the team immensely.
Ball 3rd strike to Rivera. Yeah, there's a golden touch going on right now with what they're doing. You see Stephen Vogt have a homestand. Check it out.
Yeah, we all believe in Stephen Vogt. He's off to a very nice start. How about, could you ask for a better homestand for Vogt, his first appearance in front of the fans in Milwaukee?
Oh, he gets robbed in Cincinnati by Scott Schebler, and then he wasn't getting robbed anymore. He was going deep. But yeah, what a way to introduce yourself to the fans in Milwaukee and all across Wisconsin. Getting a curtain call.
Right.
First one he said he's had.
Yeah, he loves Miller Park. Loves the energy at Miller Park, and delighted to be here.
Veteran guy, Two-time All-Star. So bouncer over the mound. This will be a tough play. There will be no play as Aguilar with an infield hits. That's the way this day has gone in a good way for the Crew.
Just putting the ball in play. That's what he's able to do right there. And not a bad pitch by Dunsing. A sinker going away from him. Not sure that Happ had to go barehand on this. He had to beat Aguilar. Not real fleet of foot, but he'll take the base hit.
Touch of inexperience, perhaps. Part of Happ. Here's Hernan Perez. Hit number 12 now for Milwaukee. Perez has a couple of them. So the fourth man out of the bullpen for the Cubs today. Montgomery, the starter, with just 2 1/3. Those good numbers he had, at least in terms of his earned run average. This was a blow-up day for him. It's hit the Baez. Will do it for the Brewers here in the 7th. They leave him in. Stretch time here at Wrigley Field on a gorgeous day and a gorgeous game for the Crew. But check this out.
Yeah, that's good.
And Wade Davis was not a part of it all here last year. He's the lone All-Star. Chris Bryant is in the final vote, the final 5 fan vote, but that's it.
Yeah, well, the team that won the World Series last year, only with one guy right now on the All-Star team. As you mentioned, Wade Davis was in Kansas City last year. The last time a team won the World Series in the following year, they only had one All-Star representative with the Cardinals back in 2007. So that does not happen all that often.
It's really something. A lot of times you can get in based on your previous year, but not the case. It's still the premier All-Star game, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, it's not about home field now, but it's still you sit back and you enjoy it. You can see some matchups that you might not see. Interleague play certainly is a lot of fun to watch, but you still in an All-Star game could get some matchups that you would not see otherwise. We're all going to be interested in seeing Corey Connect. Blazek now on the mound here for the Crew, facing Hayward.
Yeah, looked good a couple of days ago against the Orioles. Started the year down in the minor leagues. He was starting down in AAA. Had some pretty good numbers. And you would think that Craig Counsell might be looking for 3 innings out of him. So he certainly has been stretched out enough to be able to do that.
Now the makeup of bullpens can change. Remember, there's a stretch where you had that back-end trio of Blazek, Tyler Thornburg, and Jeremy Jeffress. Something going there for a time. Blazek trying to get the control squared away.
Zach Davies outstanding today. I mean, working with the lead, did not walk a batter, 10 ground ball outs. He started to really rack up the ground ball outs. His previous start before this one, 11 ground ball outs.
Over to right field, a base hit. So the bottom of the 7th begins. And to your point, pitching with a lead is great, but sometimes when you get 9 runs for you early, you can let down.
Yeah. And the other thing is, everybody worried about their earned run average and things like that. You still want to make good pitches, which Davies did, but he did attack the strike zone. He was getting a lot of the plate, making sure he didn't fall behind in the count and walk batters. One sure way to get taken out of a game before you go 5 innings and a big lead is to start walking guys. Zach Davies did not do that.
There's Javier Baez. Single and a ground ball so far. Comes down with 6 hits. So the Brewers thought the scoring started early. They have put runs on the board a lot, as we know, in the first inning. They put 2 on the board today. The Cubs have had the opposite problem, especially here at Wrigley Field. It's home game number 41, but first at-bats, they have been behind 22 times, including today. And a 7-run third popped it open. Shot fouled over at first. There's 2 strikes to Javier Baez. 24-year-old. Broke out last year, had a good year. Showed some pop. Hit 273. First round pick, 9th overall back in 2011. Blazek ready with a 1-2 pitch.
This guy doesn't get cheated, does he? Even 2 strikes.
Say one of the more noticeable changes in baseball now. With a lot of guys, the approach doesn't change a lot, right?
No,
The 2 strikes are still just.
Strikeout's not the stigma that it used to be.
It's interesting.
It's kind of the Cubs version of RC. He plays with a lot of energy. He does.
Oh, you're right. He could be a lot of fun to watch too. He was a general fan of the game. Him in the World Baseball Classic, taking a throw from Yadier Molina. Before the ball arrived, each bump of his fist was he knew they had Nelson Cruz caught trying to steal second. There's a lot of emotion. It was good. Base percentage like to get up. It's 300 coming into the game. Very good defensively. A wave and a miss. Out number 1.
Yeah, that slider from Michael Blazek. He's got the curveball slider combination to go with the fastball. Baez with that big swing. That's the danger when you have 2 strikes. You have to start that bat a little soon. That was never in the strike zone.
See the dot. Ryan Dunsing will hit for himself.
See the dot. Some hitters can see it better than others.
Sharply hit, scooped by Arcia. VR for one, Aguilar for two, and more good work defensively for the Milwaukee Brewers. Started by Orlando Arcia. Down go the Cubs in the 7th inning.
It is play. Wow.
Routine.
I mean, just unbelievable.
Speaking of fun to watch. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Downtown Chicago on a Thursday afternoon. Matinee baseball is really good baseball for the Brewers as they are trying to win for the 7th time in their last 8 games. 11-2 to move to winning number 8. Some of this crowd of 41,000 plus moving on to other things. Dunsing will stay in there and face Manny Pena. Broxton and Arcia.
Did you notice the lake as we drove to the ballpark today on Lakeshore? It was like glass.
It was.
You don't really often see, Lake Michigan that calm.
It was still.
Yeah, they say when the waves are crashing on the beach, you got an east wind, and that means wind blowing in from right.
Right.
Got to blow into the north, right?
Yes. A little, more north than east.
Right. I don't know why I brought it up, but
well,
I thought about our drive in today. Everybody was commenting on how calm the lake was.
It was a pretty drive.
I thought I'd bring it up.
Joggers are out, right?
People hanging out, playing some volleyball.
Yeah, it's a good scene. Kind of like that. Just a little slower.
I pictured myself on that beach. I was spiking a few volleyballs.
Yeah. Like a little Top Gun action,
Yeah.
How long did that thought stay with you?
5 minutes, and I realized I'd have to be in a bathing suit to do it.
A strikeout of Pena here to begin the 8th inning as we transition from the thought of rock in a bathing suit.
Yeah, don't go there.
Here's At the Plate presented by Wendy's. You see what Keon has done, reaching 3 times via the walk. It's been suggested that you could be in the remake of Top Gun 30 years later, something like that.
Yeah. And who would have said that to you?
Some old birdie here in the booth.
In your headset?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to give away names. I shouldn't do that with BA not here. Should be a relief for you getting your chops busted.
Yeah, well,
you know,
I mean, it's only a matter of time for you. I do it to myself.
We'll be back a little bit after the All-Star break. It's probably on the 15th hole right now.
For the second time.
Exactly. Working walks. Scored a run. He's stolen a base. Sends one to John Jay in center. A late break. He gets there in time. Out number 2. He's trying to extend their lead in the Central Division to 4.5 games. Craig Counsell was asked yesterday. He's been asked about it multiple times, at least a handful over the last better part of 2 months now, month and a half. If you notice what else is going on, if you're really a little early to get into full go scoreboard watching, but I think as fans we check out, see what the Cubs are doing. The Brewers aren't playing, the Cardinals. Give Craig credit. He says, well, yeah, you're in the dugout, you're staring at the scoreboard a lot, kind of hard to miss. And rather than playing dumb and saying you have no idea what's going on with technology and the way stadiums are, yeah, but the bottom line for Counsell is how his guys are playing. That's the control of it. They're playing very, very well. But he knows as well as anyone there's a long, long way to go.
But they're off to a good start.
They are enjoying it.
And basically they set themselves up to have an exciting second half.
Whoa. We'll back you up.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and we'll be reminded of it, there's a little music inside there for Orlando. Swing and a miss, and Berrettini will secure the strikeout. And that'll do it for the Brewers in the 8th. Retired in order. 11-2 Milwaukee as we move to the home half of the 8th. Top of the order for the Cubs, and going after the first pitch is John Jay. Arcia will squeeze it for out number 1.
Did you notice on that strikeout by Arcia? He dropped the 3rd strike, did Caratini, and did you see how Arcia busted it down to first base? How many times have we seen guys, you know, not so much on the Brewers, but other teams just stand there, take their batting gloves off, all dejected, and just allow the catcher to tag him? Not with that kid.
Yeah, that's a great teaching clip for players of all ages.
Not only did he run to first, I mean, he ran full speed to first. I mean, that's just a little thing, you know, in an 11-2 game that speaks volumes for that young man.
Yeah, you know, we talk about calling off the dogs. That doesn't mean you don't hustle. This is what Rock's talking about. Look at this. Team's up by 9.
I mean, you don't see a lot of that in the big leagues these days. I mean, I love that. That's what I like about and love about watching that kid.
Caratini taps it back to Blazek, and there are 2 up, 2 down. The thing about, you know, Arcia too that is so fun, besides the obvious of his talent and, you know, the hustle, he just seems like he's always smiling too. He's just going 100 miles an hour at the end of an inning. If he makes the catch, you just see the big old grin on his face. And, there are different ways to display what you do, but it's fun to watch a guy like him because you know he's enjoying every minute.
Of all the great things that he's done, he's played a beautiful shortstop today. He's made a number of really nice plays, particularly, you know, that pick on that ground ball to end the last inning to start the double play. I mean, swinging the bat, but that hustle that you saw Arcia on that strikeout, that's what impresses you most about him.
Yeah, that's something that the metrics can't show you. You want to be here to take a look. The metrics matter, don't get me wrong, but it's running stuff out.
It's the little things that don't show up on the computer screens.
1 to Tommy LaStella.
And hustle like that should never be overlooked, no matter what the score. It shouldn't be unusual, but it is.
Right. No, it's something that I guess in a perfect world you wouldn't have the need to point out, but Arcia plays the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, don't ever lose that enthusiasm, kid.
There's a lot of excitement when he came up with a big club. Got the defense has been every bit as good as advertised, at times even better. Now he's hitting on top of it.
Dave Blazek's been throwing them all. Check out this pick by Arcia. A tough hop, in between hop. Ball's by him, but keeps it in the glove. Nice easy flip over to VR, and they end the inning. And don't ever take that for granted either with him. That's not an easy play.
It wasn't. He just makes it look easy. Full count now. A lot of good shortstops in the game, no doubt. There's also no doubt he's one of them. Track will get him some hardware as his career moves along. Stella with a fly ball hit back into center field. Another long run for Broxton, and once again Broxton gets there. And Michael Blazek with a 1-2-3 inning as we move to the 9th. Blazek and the Brew Crew in control. 11-2. Brewers leading the Cubs. They're doing everything. They're hitting it. They're catching it. They're putting a whooping on the world champs. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Let the games begin. A lopsided affair, and if you just flipped us on, yeah, you're seeing John Jay on the mound in the 9th inning. So I believe will be a first.
Yeah.
And Stephen Vogt, pinch hitting, will lift one to the track. Room for Hayward. Out number 1. Even Joe Madden has to smile there.
Yeah, well.
There it is, Rock.
Yeah, well, go ahead. I'm not quite sure how to break down an outfielder's pitch.
That's my get me over whatever. And he got an out. Jonathan VR as Jay misses at 61 miles an hour. This is popped up. Caratini. You know, you see this now and then in baseball in these lopsided games, and it can make for a cute story. But you know, these guys are trying to get a laugh on it for them. It's a tough day, but you always kind of, maybe I'm just being paranoid, not really in this case because it's the other team. That's how injuries can happen sometimes, right?
Well, again, I mean, John Jay's just flipping it up there. He's not trying to really do anything. Not throwing hard. He's not throwing breaking pitches. Just kind of throwing under batting practice speed. But
if that.
Yeah.
56 out of the zone.
No, the way this game is going, maybe he should have started the game.
To the count. He gets a swing and a miss from Santana. Caratini there behind the plate. And a base hit for Santana. Over left center field. 13th knock of the day and the 4th for Santana.
Yep. And the last thing you want to do is punch out against an outfielder. Well, and Santana able to level on one. Was that a changeup? Did he throw him a changeup? Did he?
So
right down the middle. It was a changeup off a 62-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, the speed range might not be all that impressive. Yadiel Rivera. Veteran John Jay just trying to give his manager an inning. Rivera to left field and a foul ball.
I don't know, I'm just one of those guys that you have 8 relievers in your bullpen. I mean, there's not a reliever you can go out there in the 9th inning and maybe respect the game a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of there with you.
I mean, if you're back in the old days with 5 relievers, I get it. But they've got 8 of them.
Rivera to right field. And again out of play.
I guess maybe respect the game a little bit harsh, but you know.
Well, you have options that don't involve position players.
Right, and kind of having everybody joke around in an 11-2 game.
One and 2 to count. It's a 9-run game. That's as much as it could be a risky take. That's a risky take in a 9-run game. The starter Mike Montgomery went just 2 1/3. Matt Leathersich making his first big league appearance in a couple of years. Struggled mightily. Long day for Cubs pitching. Great day for the Brewers bats. Rivera, well hit to left. Inning over. Well, Jay retires the side. He has a moment. The Brewers are having a day. Game, and by the way, that 7-run third that Jeff talked about, that is not a season high. They put a snowman on the Mets back on May 13th. They pushed it for a season high, but
love the snowman reference.
Yeah, absolutely.
8 spot.
It's kind of fun when you can talk about that. 8 there, 7 today, and Rob Scahill looking to finish this one off.
Yep, 15th appearance for Scahill, 372 earned run average. Well, he's got the middle part of the order for the Cubs. Looking for 3 outs to get on the plane and head to New York.
New battery, as a matter of fact. Stephen Vogts on pinch hit at the top of the 9th. He's in there as Scahill will face Ian Happ. Hot bat that they have kept quiet today, talking about Happ, 22-year-old product of the University of Cincinnati. Sizable power numbers already, 12 homers. To New York. Brewers will take on a Yankees team that is idle today. A little scuffling time here of late. Joe Girardi's team. 1-2 pitch.
Probably see the same lineup in there tomorrow. Why? Why not? Right? Got another left-hander the Brewers are going to face. Stay hot.
Brewers are liking the left-handed pitching they have been facing. Brink of winning their 7th game out of the last 8. A chance for Jesus Aguilar. He'll go it solo for out number 1. Check out what's on tap, presented by Miller Lights. Up to Yankee Stadium, and there's your matchup. Junior Guerra against another left-hander, Jordan Montgomery, who's pitched pretty well for the Yankees. We'll get our coverage started tomorrow at 5:30 here on Fox Sports, Wisconsin.
And hopefully Junior is going to be able to turn things around. Only 4 innings his last time out. Has been battling that splitter as of late. Last 3 starts.
Kyle Schwarber at the plate. It'll be a fun road trip to New York. This team's franchises, the personnel obviously a lot different, but they last met 3 years ago at Miller Park. As part of the Derek Jeter farewell tour. It also marked the return of CC Sabathia, who had a start in that series and got a very nice warm reception. It's a good series. Brewers ended up winning 2 out of 3.
Yep.
Yankees lost their last 2 games to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, second time the Brewers are going to go to new Yankee Stadium.
Opened in 2009, championship year for the Yankees. 1-2 pitch. I mentioned Zach Davies not issuing a walk today. Brewers pitching has done a good job of avoiding the walks, what they've done. Nothing on Tuesday on Independence Day, served up a couple yesterday, but nothing today. Meanwhile, they're working walks. 9 of them here this afternoon. The Brewers hitters have been able to work.
Got the hands right there by Carlos Rivero. That is one heck of a play. No wonder he's the infield coach.
Yeah, no kidding. That's how you do it. Check this out.
Watch how quickly he gets it and flips it into the crowd. Look at him. Quick hands, too. Well done.
Two-two pitch. First game back with a big club for Kyle Schwarber after a stint with AAA Iowa. 0 for 3 today, a called third strike and a couple of ground balls to Jonathan VR. That's with just 6 hits this afternoon. And only 1 from the 5th inning on. It's from Hayward in the 7th inning. He was erased on a double play. Full count to Schwarber. Wilson Contreras on deck. First round pick for Schwarber 3 years ago, the 4th overall out of Indiana University. Payoff pitch.
Can't shake him.
And ball here for Kyle Schwarber. 10th pitch of the at bat coming up. Brewers doing their damage early. 2 in the first and 7 in the third. Down a couple more in the 5th. Finally, down he goes. A strikeout for out number 2 here in the ninth.
That's kind of the way the Brewer pitching staff has been. I mean, even with full counts, 3-ball counts with a big lead, they're just going fastball. They want to walk batters. Finally able to shake Kyle Schwarber. 2-seamer right underneath.
Two men out here in the ninth. Here's Contreras. Homer back in the 4th inning. He's 2 of the 6 hits. Singled in the 7th. Brewers about to go to 48-40. 8 over 500 for the first time since early September of 2014. That's in there. 0-2. Move away and head to the plane.
Yep.
Two-strike pitch from Scahill. That will wrap it up. A strikeout of Contreras, and the Brewers complete the beatdown. 11-2 over the Cubs, as the Crew now extends the lead in the Central to 4.5 games. What a performance. They hit, they field, they pitch. They do it all right now.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, they just continue to swing the bats well. Zach Davies now with 10 wins. He did a really good job. Now, the last 4 wins for the Brewers have been relatively easy wins, as far as, you know, really not those high stress innings at the end of the game. Well done today.
Very well done. They head to New York 48-40. 11-2 the Brewers win. Let's send it to Jeff Grayson, standing by at our Fox Sports Wisconsin studio.